Welcome to this week's episode of the Founders Podcast. We're going to be talking about starting the service, Systemise Fulfilment, the lessons that we learned in the early months and years. And I'm really excited for another week.
Me too.
But we first have to make a drink. So what are you having?
I would love a rosé, please.
A rosé. Get yourself a drink as well. Let us know in the comments what you like to drink. I'm actually gonna pour myself a Guinness because it's the end of the week and it's the weekend. Let's see. Is it this one?
Yes, please.
So this one is the Nectar and Nature from Morrison's.
It's lovely.
What about it do you like? You do like a rosé?
I do like a rosé. It's just nice.
Yeah, it's you always like an ice cube in it.
Yep.
There you go.
Thank you.
Let's open that.
Lovely, thank you.
You're very welcome. So, I suppose while I'm making my Guinness, we will make a start in terms of when we first started the business. So, we didn't move into the warehouse until June of 2016. Do you remember what it was like when we first moved into the warehouse?
Daunting. I mean, it was brilliant because if you've watched the other episodes before this one, we've touched on that. We was in our front room. Kev was still working at that point, and we had Harper, our youngest. So I was on maternity leave. So from going from our front room to trying to split the dynamics of your living at home and working as well, to then being able to get into the warehouse, it was incredible. I can remember we took, obviously ourselves, Theo and Harper, and we went in it. It was obviously just an empty shell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, we've got a picture where we're just stood in the middle of the warehouse, and it was a real pinch me moment at that point to be like, wow. It
really was. I mean, I remember we went through Q4 in 2015 and Harper was like 1 year old or coming up towards one. And it was Christmas time. I'd just handed in my notice at the steelworks, so I was still working at this point. And the living room, it was chaotic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was just stuff absolutely everywhere.
High chairs, everything.
High chairs, boxes, and obviously stock. And then we ended up actually I ended up quitting my career, and then we hired our first staff member, which was Amber, and she was coming home. But during that first kind of 6 months of 2016, from January to June, we were like, we can't go into another Q4 working from home.
No.
It was a lot. We were growing quite rapidly, but then when we looked around the warehouse and we actually got the keys, we went from feeling like we were really busy to not being busy at all.
Yeah.
Or there was space.
Yeah, we just had space.
It just gave us that feeling. So, do you remember what it was like when we first moved in, and then for the first period we didn't even have a table.
No,
we didn't even have shelves.
Just all on the floor. I can remember we had like crates where we would like line everything up. One thing that I did really enjoy from when we got able to be moved into the warehouse, was a space for everything. Because like Kev's just mentioned, we've been gone from our front room where it was a bit of just everywhere to then it was actually nice to going in every day and like having a place for everything, and it just seemed a lot more organised. But yeah, I think we just worked. I mean, you do what you need to do, don't you? It wasn't about, we didn't have all the mod cons and everything. It was literally a case of, this is the space that we've got, let's make it work with what we have got at that point. So, and at that point there was only myself, Kevin, Amber. So it was just all hands on deck, making sure we were getting it done. So
yeah, firstly, now I've got a drink. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to the weekend. Cheers to you. I hope you've had a fantastic week.
Lovely.
I'm going to see if I can do it.
No.
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 Yeah, so we now had the space to actually organise ourselves. And that was also the time I started the YouTube channel. So it was February 2016 where I started my main YouTube channel, and the reason why I wanted to do that was actually just for, first of all, like a selfish reason, from a perspective of I just wanted to document the journey, more so for us, as in when we look back in 20, 30, 40 years time, and we had our grandchildren around us, we could share them, not just photos, but we could share videos. And that's why I started doing like different tours around, the initial tours around the warehouse, just for that purpose. But what I didn't know, I didn't realise that there was such an amazing community of like-minded people and entrepreneurs and business owners that were also doing the same thing. Because at the time, bearing in mind, this is actually before Facebook groups. So there was no Facebook groups. Obviously there was YouTube, and there were some great people doing YouTube, but there was no community per se. So just started sharing what we were doing, building our Amazon business, sharing the warehouse, behind the scenes of the warehouse. Do you remember? We even had like a shoulder cam.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, we had gone through everything, prepping with this shoulder bloody camera thing on.
Yeah.
But it was good. I really enjoyed the behind the scenes, because you don't too often see things like that, do you? So it was quite nice to just to have behind the scenes of, if that was making up all the boxes ready for for boxing the items behind the scene.
It was really nice. And what that did initially, it started to attract people. We started getting subscribers. I remember 2016, it took us about 6 months or something to get 100 subscribers, which might not sound, don't sound like crazy based on lots of amazing numbers that great YouTubers and stuff have. But to me, it was like, imagine if you had 100 people like in the room with you. Like, that's a lot of people. And people started asking questions. What do we do? How do we do it? They started asking for different tours around the warehouse. We just started sharing our experience. And what that did initially, it built a lot of trust. When you share transparently, like, this is what we do, and this is how we do it, and this is what I've learned. And I literally shared like Amazon suspension, when we got suspended, and not just the good highlights. It was the good, the bad, the ugly. And what that did is it generated a lot of great people to come towards us and attracted to us. And we started building some fantastic relationships. And then we built a Facebook group off the back of that. That Facebook group grew to multiple thousands, like 5,000 plus people, which is then crazy. But then what ended up actually happening was we started getting the question of, well, you've got a warehouse. Can we use your warehouse instead of us, prepping at home? And that was actually when the fulfillment service was born. We called ourselves. Do you remember what we called ourselves?
FBA prep.
Yeah, FBA.
I was a bit scared then. I was thinking FBA prep.
So it was like not really kind of. It was like put the name on the tin. Like, one of the things, when it comes to your business, and this is some of the things I kind of think about, is first and foremost, obviously, trust. Like, people are not going to do business with you if they don't trust and like you. And also, what problem are you solving? Because people are not going to just pay for nothing, right? You've got to actually solve a problem. You've got to provide a solution. And then you don't want to overcomplicate that solution. So that's why it was like, well, we'll just call ourselves FBA Prep Service UK. Like, we do FBA prep service, and we're in the UK. So it wasn't really kind of revolutionary. It was put the name on the tin per se. And we started working with the first initial clients that we had, and we didn't have everything figured out. It was a two-way thing. It was like, okay, how would it work working with somebody else's stock? What did you feel like when you first started getting like somebody else's stock come through the warehouse?
It was exciting. I think, as you've mentioned, because you had the YouTube channel where people could literally see what we were doing. It wasn't just you in front of a camera talking, it was like behind the scenes, as we've mentioned. So I think that really attracted people into what we were actually doing. A lot of people, like what we was doing, was working from their front rooms, from bedrooms, and it's like I think they bought into the like, wow, they clearly are doing something right. So yeah, when the first few orders started coming through, it was a real achievement. I think it was really good to feel that, like, one, you've got a lot of care because you're thinking, right, this is somebody else, like we know how we feel about our business, and then you've got somebody else in like trusting us to make sure that we capture everything and make sure it's to Amazon's, you know, requirements and stuff. So no, it was really exciting and good. It was it was a good, exciting time, I feel.
Yeah, it was, because, you know, up until that point we'd obviously had just our own stock and our own processes and systems, and it was entirely different now to work with somebody else. And a couple of reasons why that is, and it's something that you might want to think about from a perspective of your customer or client or whoever the end receiver is for your business. You've got to see it from their perspective. So we were kind of reverse engineering, like, they're not based at the warehouse, they can't see their stock, and ultimately they're putting trust in the quality control of everything that you have, because it impacts their business. So reverse engineering that back, we were very, very, very early on, it was like, communication needs to be absolutely essential. Like, somebody is trusting their stock with you, so communication is absolutely key. But not just text, it was like, that's when we started sending photos, and we started creating do you want to talk a little bit about that communication initial process?
So I think it went a bit hand in hand of, you know, we started talking, and obviously you're talking to your clients as well, back and forth. And I can't fully remember the exact moment of when it was, but it was just a scenario of like, we'll just send a picture, because I think it was when we started getting more and more influx of items coming through. It was like, even we were like, wow, this is amazing. So then we would start sending them to the clients, and the reaction back was brilliant. They were like, we've never had this before. This is so amazing. Like Kev's mentioned, because a lot of them some wasn't even in the UK. So it would be like, this is really good to see, like, what I've ordered basically at your door now. So yeah, the communication, we would just make sure we'd send a photo, make sure that, like, if there was anything wrong or we knew that there was going to be an issue prior to it getting to Amazon, we'd send messages to the clients to make them aware. Because you've also got to remember, like, we were a prep service, but it's also like, you've got everybody's judgment and thoughts into, do you think that's okay to go? Do I think this is okay to go? So I think that's where the initial, you know, it stemmed from, just making sure that, like, the client was aware of, like, are you happy to send this? It could have been a few mil out or things like that. So I think that's where it was birthed from, really.
Yeah, and that was really, it was a great feedback loop, right? So we would think, okay, how can we make the experience as great as possible? The best way I kind of describe it is if you've ordered a pizza from Domino's, they share with you, like, you know, pizza's being prepared, pizza's in the oven, pizza's quality control, pizza's now on its way. And that, from a customer perspective, just gives you an awareness of the cycle, the life cycle, the status.
I think it also stopped the questions being asked so often as well, of like, how's my shipment going? Because they would know, because they've already been sent a photo. So like what you've just mentioned about the Domino's version, it stopped questions because you're busy as well at the same time. So it stopped that interaction of being like having to start all the time, because we noticed quite early on that, especially when there's only like 3 of us at the time, the minute you're taken out from what you're doing, you kind of lose all concentration. It's very hard to get back into it. So I think from the communication side of things, it was good that we just put that straight at the front, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And, you know, that started getting some really good feedback. And ultimately, we are then, from our business perspective, we're responsible for obviously that communication, but the delivery of, okay, products coming in, inventory coming in, and shipments going out. You know, that's essentially what our objective is, with speed and quality control. And we already had our processes and systems for our own business, and therefore it made sense where we're essentially using the processes, the equipment, the infrastructure that we've already got, and all our, you know, our staff experience and everything else to the development of another service. So it's something that you might want to consider. Are you doing something right now that you could be doing? It goes hand in hand. And then we started getting busy. We obviously started getting a lot of stock coming in, and then we started hiring our second. We had then Kaylee then join us. What was it like from your perspective in terms of like obviously new staff members coming in?
It was good because it was needed, and it was just we were getting more done, and that's ultimately what you want in your business. You want ultimate like profit of what you're doing. So whether that's there was more people to be boxing, there'd be more people to answer questions or queries. It was really good that we were all so hands on deck, and I do think fondly of them times because we were all learning together, and I think that's what was really good, and we were quite lucky in that respect that we were all learning together. So it was fun, but no, it was the support and the help, because then, you know, it allowed maybe myself to box more shipments, because otherwise you'd be kind of in and out of everything a lot, like creating the shipments and things like that. So it was really good.
Yeah, it was. It really was good. And the wonderful thing that ended up actually happening was our initial clients at the beginning, they started freeing up so much of their time. Their business started to grow because then they would do more work to try growing the business. And we started getting messages of people like, you know, record days and record sales. And then we started getting like obviously thank you messages. And, you know, over the years we've had clients order us pizzas and stuff of this nature, which is amazing, because ultimately the way I've always seen this is like, if you can make a real life impact on somebody, somebody can now quit their own job, or they can travel and enjoy their life while, you know, our service is providing them that great level of experience, and then obviously the result. I mean, that is what everything is. It makes everything worth it.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody sends you that message and sends you that appreciation, and because it's hard work, you know, the amount of work that you kind of do. Yeah, I think that kind of, for us, I think that's the starting story of how we did this. And then we hosted the first event.
Yeah.
Do you remember hosting the first event?
I was so nervous. I mean, I didn't really do anything. You did the most of it, but yeah, I do. It was brilliant though, to be fair.
Yeah, it was great. So
the preparation for that was insane, because it was obviously at the first warehouse. We wanted to make sure it was because by this point, you know, your YouTube was doing really well. Obviously from a client base, from the business, we were growing and growing. So it was like, it was a big thing. It was a big deal. It
was a big deal. I was nervous as hell.
Same.
And here's a number of reasons why we kind of did what we did. Is like, number one, we were in a warehouse. That was our home per se, and we had a great community online. But we'd done like live streams and stuff of this nature, but never actually in person. And then you know, I always think about like that experience, like I say, not just of the service, but just being involved in this journey that we're all kind of going on, and from an entrepreneurial point of view. So I thought, do you know what? We should host multiple events. So we hosted the first event, and we had 10 people come. It was a paid kind of day masterclass event, if you like. We did then have some open days as well, which was awesome. But I remember for the first time, you're now starting to, from speaking to people on Slack, and you're just through messaging,
online, isn't it?
so it's online. So now you're actually meeting in person, and then somebody coming up to you and going like, "Hi, Kylie, like it's good to finally like."
I can't remember at the time. Did we have? I don't think we had our pictures like on Slack at one point, and I think because I can always remember one person going, "Oh, it's so good to put a face to like who you've been speaking to day in day out." But But no, it was really good that like you just had that connection because you know them, but you've never met them. So that was really good. And I know like for Kaylee and Amber and the people that we had with us, it was a real like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it was. And we put so much, because we're an operational warehouse, we could have just gone out, tried to go to like a conference room in a hotel or something. But in all honesty, like, you know, we're in a warehouse.
But that worked really well as well.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, it feeds
People
into
that.
And it's been the biggest, without a doubt. Every single event that we've done in our old warehouse and new warehouses, every single person has said, I love the fact that you do it inside the warehouse.
So they can see, they can look around, they can be like, wow, this is what you experience day in, day out. Some of them may have their stock there, which they've had in the past, and they're like, it's so cool to see our products there, because they never see it otherwise, other than a picture.
Yeah.
But that was that feedback from being in the warehouse. I mean, obviously it's freezing cold as well at times. But everyone loved it, and I think that's been such a positive to be like you said, you couldn't go to a hotel and do a lovely conference room, but you don't get that grit, I don't think, from that. From, you know, when we're talking and we're maybe having jokes with clients going, it's because, you know, you build up a relationship, they'll be like, hope today's shipments go well, is it cold? We'll be like, it's freezing, blah, blah, blah. And then when they've all stepped in, and if it was cold, they're like, oh yeah, they have a little bit more of an appreciation, like... They
do. And you cannot, as much as the best intentions that you have in terms of, you know, giving tours and warehouse tours and stuff, and here's the warehouse, and here's what we do, and here's how we do it, until somebody's actually in that room, they can't experience how it feels, like the temperature, the noise, and it's more immersive. I mean, to the point where it was so unusual per se, which unusual is a good thing in business. You know, you don't want to blend into everybody else. If you're you don't want to be the same. If you are a purple sheep, right, you're going to stand out. And this even got the attention of. I remember getting a message, a shout out by Dean Graziosi, and now I don't know whether you know about who that is, but he's Tony Robbins' business partner, and he'd seen a post of one of the, because we always used to do like a photo of like everybody at the warehouse and things, and he literally shouted out, going like, you know, Kev Blackburn he's hosted this mastermind in the warehouse, and he's like, oh my god, it's in the warehouse. If I've got the clip, I'm gonna put the clip right here, so you can see it for yourself. But that was like, it was amazing, and it built more of a connection. And I think that is one of the really key things about building a brand, building a business. That if you can go deeper in a relationship with people and that experience, then that's how you get like raving fans, or you get people that are going to be with you for a long, long time.
Loyalty, isn't it? I think
it's loyalty. I mean, think about, like, I know you and me. We shop from the same places. We go to, you know, whenever we're going on holiday, you know, we go and use the same restaurants, and we do all these things because of the great experience that we've had. And then if you can associate your business to your clients like that, with experience, success, just care, and you've positioned your business so you can, obviously your business can be profitable, then it's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a wonderful thing. So yeah, we've that's essentially how we started in the last kind of, you know, 25 minutes talking to you here. I thought we'd just touch on that today. So if you've got any questions, or if you want to share your story or what you do, then please, by all means, comment down below, let us know. I hope that this has been useful, some of the insights that you've got there. We're actually about to go to the airport soon.
We are indeed.
We're actually going to be heading off to Ibiza again, which is where we had the Blackburns' wedding. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I just cannot wait. Right now my head's going like that, but super excited. We're going for a real good friend's birthday, Rachel. So, which shout out to Rachel, it's actually her birthday. So
yeah, it's her birthday.
Happy birthday, Rachel.
Happy birthday.
Now I'm so excited, I can't wait.
I know.
Literally cannot wait.
we haven't been back since our wedding a couple of years ago, so it's going to be fantastic to go. Obviously,
fingers crossed the weather's nice.
Yeah, I think fingers crossed the weather's nice. Rachel, who is one of our longest friends, is actually a bit of a connection between me and Kylie, who kind of, I knew Rachel, and then Rachel was best friends with Kylie, and that's how me and Kylie met. So, you know, for Rachel to invite us and the wider friends and everything out to Ibiza for her birthday, we was like,
hell yes.
Get us on that plane.
Yeah, get us there.
So, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Founders Podcast. I think, do you have any final things to say, or you good?
No, I think we've covered what we need to cover in this one. And then, like we say, if you have any questions or any insights that you want to maybe know about a bit more about our business, or anything that you think would help yours, then please do put a comment in, and we'll try and get through them and put them in the next one.
We certainly will. So, as we always do, let's cheers to the weekend.
Oh, I've not drank as much today.
No, cheers. Cheers to you. I hope you had a great week, and look forward to the weekend. And we look forward to seeing you in the next week's episode of the Founders Podcast.
Bye, guys.
See you later.